And I just knew. And back in March, a few months ago, I said, I have to die. I must die. Why? Because I do not want to go back to training. I do not want to go back to Virginia. I do not want to go back to those drill sergeants, those sharks who want us to do push-ups. I'll give you a push-up. You want to make me, you want to smoke me? I'll smoke you. I'll smoke you. Don't do it. Don't yell. I'll smoke you. You want to yell at me? I'm tired of being yelled at. I've been yelled at all my life. I've been told what to do all my freaking life. And I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm not. I can't take it. You tortured me psychologically. Now it's my turn. And that's my problem. That's what I'm talking about. The human race is sick. The human race is sick, demented, insane, and a horrible plague on the world. And that's what Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold knew. Sure, they wanted to kill. They became self-aware of what the world was. And I have become self-aware, too, of what the world is like. Of what the human mind is. I'm self-aware of the human mind. We're all sick. Sadism, Masochism, Albert Fish, a classic example of the human race. Sadist, masochist, meat-eater. And he enjoyed getting hurt. What I mean is that he would self-mutilate himself. He would get his kids sometimes to hit him with sticks. But at the same time, he would torture his victim. A classic example of sadism and masochism. And I've been having fantasies of sadism myself and masochism. So I ask you, is that normal? No. Why? Because I'm sick in the head. Exactly. I'm sick in the head myself. And I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't. I don't want to live like it anymore. I'm sorry for this, but I gotta make sure my parents stay alive. I can't live like this anymore. It's sickening. You don't know what dark fantasies I hold. Anyway, I sympathize with Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. I knew what they were suffering. Again, I view the call by master as bad, but now I don't view it as bad. I view it as a good thing. I know what you're saying. How? Those two were monsters. They killed people. Yes, but you see, they didn't kill them. In their minds, they killed them. But they saved them. In my mind, they saved them. Those kids were teenagers, a perfect age where bad things happen. Drugs, alcohol, sex. A lot of those victims were smokers, and I'm not insulting them, but they were making mistakes in their lives. At least some of them were. And you have to do away with mistakes in your life. The world is cruel. They saved those children from possible drug use, possible murders, possible bad things that could happen. Here, let me explain. I know I'm sounding confusing. I know what you're saying. How can anything good come from killing a person? They won't have to suffer depression, for example. They won't have to suffer anxiety. They won't have to suffer fear. They won't have to... But I gotta make sure my parents stay alive. I can't live like this anymore. It's sickening. You don't know what dark fantasies I hold. Anyway, I sympathize with Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. I knew what they were suffering. Again, I view the call by master as bad, but now I don't view it as bad. I view it as a good thing. I know what you're saying. How? Those two were monsters. They killed people. Yes, but you see, they didn't kill them. In their minds, they killed them, but they saved them. In my mind, they saved them. Those kids were teenagers, a perfect age where bad things happen. Drugs, alcohol, sex. A lot of those victims were smokers, and I'm not insulting them, but they were making mistakes in their lives. At least some of them were. And you have to do away with mistakes in your life. The world is cruel. They saved those children from possible drug use, possible murders, possible bad things that could happen. Here, let me explain. I know I'm sounding confusing. I know what you're saying. How can anything good come from killing a person? They won't have to suffer depression, for example. They won't have to suffer anxiety. They won't have to suffer fear. They won't have to suffer, I don't know, they won't have to suffer anymore. The youngest person they killed was a 14-year-old boy, and that's perfect. That boy will not grow up to become a pedophile or anything like that. He will not grow up to I don't know, to rape women or to become a homosexual or something like that. Those people will not commit any mistakes in their lives because they'll be dead. They're in a better place. They're in a world where nothing bad exists. And that's what has to happen. We must leave this world. And I believe that I was stopped from suicide by God because I have to do another massacre. That's right. In my view, I think I must do a massacre. But you see, I don't want revenge against the school. The school I want, and I'm not going to say it here because I'm paranoid. And if you have cameras here, I don't know, I'm very paranoid. I'll tell you which school it is later on. But it's Orange School. And I'm not doing it for revenge. I love that school. I'm doing it to save them. Another massacre has got to take place so we can remind the world of how evil it is. Another thing has to happen. I already have my 20-gauge shotgun. I'm probably going to saw it off. Now I need one thing. I need a carbon, which is what Eric Harris used. I love Eric Harris too. I've become infatuated. I think he's very handsome. I think he's very, very handsome. He's very handsome, good looking. I can't believe he never got a girlfriend, but many people thought he was weird. And I know what you're saying. How can you like another guy and you still like girls? I'm confused about my sexuality, okay? I think I might be bisexual, and I know that's sick. I read a statistic that a lot of bisexuals commit suicide because you can imagine what they go through. So what else was I supposed to do? Choose? It's hard to choose. I do not want to become a bisexual either, but I like men too. My friends, I think they're attractive. And also, I have a foot fetish. I'm sexually aroused by feet. Yes, I know it sounds weird. I know it does. But I can't help it. Every time I would see a person's foot, I get sexually aroused. Some people get sexually aroused by the top areas, you know, of a woman or a man. Some people get aroused by other body parts. For me, it was mostly feet that aroused me, male or female. Every time someone would wear flip-flops, I'd look at their feet. And I know that's harassment. I'm guilty of harassment, and I'm going to pay for it soon enough. I'm guilty of it, and I deserve to die. I love my family. I know I put them through a mess when the suicide crisis occurred, but I'm still getting suicidal thoughts, homicidal thoughts, and I feel I need to be punished for all of this. And I do not want to go back to the military. I don't want to go back, but I might still have to go back, and I'm not going to go back. Now what I got to do is buy a carbine, buy a rifle, semi-automatic, and of course use this.